Episode 6, Dawn of the Golden Witch. Good morning. Now the curtain shall finally rise on the game presented by that battler. Will battler manage to successfully and spectacularly fill the enormous role of Game Master? Let us bear witness to this fight from the opposite side of the chessboard. There's no longer a difficulty level. This is no longer a hint, but a confession. Oh, here it is. A beautiful glow shone in from the skylight over the grand cathedral. The place was somehow different from the way it had been during the witch's trial. The decorations had changed. The several pleasantly sparkling white ribbons that adorned it were thin like razors, but they trailed beautifully in the air. Flowers were arranged all over in a way that would make any place look cheerful. It was like how a single drop of impure water can spoil an entire cask of wine. Just like the presence of those flowers, those ribbons, and the red carpet that ran down the center of the room made it hard to believe that this was the same place Ushino Miyanatsui had been falsely accused of a crime. It had truly become a wedding chapel. Love is generous. Love is merciful. Love does not envy. It does not boast. Those words, spoken by two demons who deemed to be in charge of this gathering, were part of a ceremony for making an oath of love before the eyes of God. Of course, in this wedding chapel, celebrated by demons, there was no priest in sight. Instead, there stood the witch who controls miracles. In sickness and in health. Yeah, a wife's true job is to be the supportive in times of sickness. Isn't that right, Erika? I have to say I love this song. Yes, my master. That looks good on you. What a fitting outfit for one who has conquered the bridegroom. I am honored, my master. The bride standing on the carpeted path was Furuto Erika. The groom's face couldn't be seen. The bride's outfit certainly was a pure white wedding dress. Her veil represented both the white of God's blessings and the white of a demon's cruelty. A great many goat nobles, witches, and demons were gathered for this wedding. If only their heads hadn't been those of goats, it would probably have seemed to be a very refined crowd worthy of this great cathedral. I'd expect no less of you, Bern. The stuff you manage to think of is always so twisted. A wife supporting her ailing husband. Isn't that a lovely story? It suits you well, Erika. And congratulations to you too, Mr. Groom. At that point, Burn Castle stared straight into the groom's eyes. I really hate how they nerfed her boobs. I'm sorry I have to say that. I don't like it. Why? Rika said she wanted big boobs when she grew up. That's what she wanted. I know that feeling when I was younger. I mean, I don't want them anymore. They're burdensome, but I just have to interject. I have to make a complaint every time they bring up Ring Castle. Okay? Like, when I see that they nerfed her. She wanted them big! Okay. The groom didn't answer. His eyes were gray. His lips would mutter something from time to time, but no one could tell if the words meant anything. Oh. Hey, are you listening, you people? She spoke to the groom in the plural. Of course, there was only one groom, and of course, the gray-eyed groom didn't answer. So even though you can hear her, you can't answer. Don't worry, okay? Battler. They nerfed her boobs in the PS3 console. I just wanted to say that. That's another complaint I have about the console sprites. Because Rika wanted them. That's what she wanted. I'm just saying it because I know how she felt at that age. Because I know how I felt at that age. So anyway, yeah. It's okay. I'll just take everything you are and trample it into the ground. The Witch of Miracles sneered with an evil smile that even a demon would shudder to look at. Even that sneer provoked no response from Balor's dim eyes. People live for the sake of love. Therefore today you have fulfilled the purpose of your lives. Oh, how great is the power to live! The power of love! I pray that the brightness of this day blesses these two for all time! Just give it a rest already, you demons. What comes next? The couple will now make an oath of eternal love! After that, they will exchange rings! On Balor's hand was a ring bearing the seal of the one-winged eagle, proof that he was the territory lord of this world. And on Erika's finger was a diamond ring that could not be shattered by any miracle. Diamonds signify an eternal bond. However, in Greek, the word diamond simply means unbreakable. Diamond is unbreakable! Oh, Joni. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. Erika wasn't vowing to love Balor forever. She just wanted to rule over him as her eternal property. This wedding was being performed for the sole purpose of defiling Battler. Don't worry. I won't love you forever. After all, the point of the ceremony is to make you submit to me. Your heart will be shut up inside an inescapable closed room forever, where I, Furudo Erika, the detective and the Witch of Truth, will command it. Your position as territory lord, and your ring will become mine. Can't get... What was that? Can't get out. How can Balor escape from the bombs? Gap, what the hell are you smiling about? Yeah, I bet you can't get out of that closed room. After all, you made it yourself. You'll suffer in that room for all eternity. And I'll remain by your side as your wife forever, getting to enjoy that look of anguish on your face all by myself. I'll defile you forever. Ushiro me a battler!
To
All that could be heard was the sound of the wind, a sound of misfortune, bringing sadness and unease to all who heard it. Slowly, I came back to my senses. I finally regained consciousness on top of a bed with a firm mattress. Where was this again? I can't remember where this is, but I can vaguely recall that I must not remain here. The room was dimly lit. There was a light on, but that just made the darkness and eeriness of the room more apparent. There were no curtains over the window, but it was too dark outside to see anything beyond it. If I squinted into that pitch-black darkness, it felt as though I could see the Witch of the Forest peeking back at me from the darkness, and I averted my gaze from the window in fear. I can't see or hear it, but I get the feeling if I leave this room it'll be bright and warm and someone else will be there for me. I want to get where everyone else is as soon as I can. Bad memories from when I was very young began to well up. Horrible, harsh memories of when I started dozing off during the family gathering and was put to sleep in some room I didn't know. I remember waking up there, incredibly lonely and sobbing. I must not remain in this room. I just want to get out of here quickly. Once that thought crossed my mind, I didn't want to stay in the room a second longer than I had to. I'm scared. It's creepy. Where is everyone? I want to get out of here right now. I opened the door, trying to leave the room. A pleasant glow snuck in through the crack of the door, as I thought the corridor was filled with a comforting light. I couldn't actually hear them, but I could sense that far away people were enjoying themselves. I'm sure everyone's gathered in the room across from this one. I've been shut up in this lonely, creepy room, all alone. I should go quickly. As soon as I thought this, that merciless metallic sound rang out. The door refused to move any further. The chain had been set. I'd always hated chain locks. You can open a normal lock just by twisting, but chain locks are built in an annoying way. And I couldn't work them out easily. So I hated them ever since I was very young. See? Even this chain is causing me trouble, and I just can't get it undone. Why is this happening? I just want to leave this creepy room right away. Just on the other side of this thin door, everything is bathed in a warm light. I can't undo it. I just can't undo this chain. The more desperate I grew, the more that unsettling darkness seemed to be closing in on my back, the more frightened I became. Then I finally noticed there's something wrong with this chain. Yes, there is a chain, but this isn't a chain lock. This is just a chain staked in the door, preventing it from opening any further. In other words, it isn't made to be opened. What the hell's going on? Who would do something like this, damn it? No matter what I did, no matter how much I struggled, I couldn't pull out the stake or undo the chain or break the mechanism. This door was just a demon's mouth, made to trick me into thinking it would open before crushing my hopes. Even so, I could only just open this door somehow. I could get out into that pleasant corridor. This desire forced me to keep my hand glued to the doorknob. It was just useless. Both the chain and the stake were firm, and no matter how much I clattered them about, there was no chance of the door opening any further. Even though I could see the pleasant hallway through the crack, I had no chance of opening the door any further. Maybe someone will come if I yell. Maybe the door can be opened easily from the outside. When I thought this, I tried to call out to someone, but I couldn't make the words come out. I could mouth, "Someone come here," but no voice left my lips. What's going on? Someone come. Why can't I cry out? Help me, help me, help me! The mere fact that I can't say help me out loud is even scarier. If I turn around, the witch gazing into the room from the darkness outside might be inside the room this time, standing right behind me. I'm frightened. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. Someone help me. Someone help me. I can't get out. Can't get out. Let me out of this room. Help me. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out. Help me. Help me. Help me. Oh no. Battler. sounds like they arrived, lady. Oops, my bad. Sounds like they arrived, lady. Huh? Oh. Amakusa ran his finger down my cheek. In an instant, I woke from the doze I'd just been in. I glared at Amakusa for waking me up in such a creepy way, but he just pretended not to notice. Where is this? It feels like a parlor in some dignified person's house. I know, right? Even with what happens at the end of episode 6, I can't help but think. Anyway. Angie's back! But I have no memory of this place at all. Where is this? And why am I... You still have a sleep, lady? Yeah, sorry. Where are we? Huh? Apparently he hadn't expected me to forget something like that just because I wasn't fully awake yet. For once I agreed with him. Why am I in some parlor that I don't recognize? The sound of the footsteps from the they Amakusa had mentioned had come right up to the opposite side of the door. I could hear conversing voices. Is that a woman? Judging by the coffee and the snacks laid in front of me, I was a guest here. In that case, I'd better remember why I came here, or at least who it was I came to visit. Who am I? Ushiromiya Angie. Who's the man standing behind me? Amakusa Juza, the man who used to be my guard from long ago. He's now the bodyguard Okunogi assigned to me. In that case, is this after Aunt Ava's death? When I've thrown off my pursuers on that journey to find out what happened 12 years ago? Is that how it went? Do I really have a memory like this? After a knock, the door opened, and that person I must have come here to meet entered along with the assistant. Oh, wonderful. Even after seeing her face, I can't remember who she is. Our sincere apologies for keeping you waiting. Hachijo Toya is here. That's a relief. The assistant introduced her to me first, and I finally remember who she was. She? I thought it was a he. Excuse me, but are you... Purple eyes? How strange. That's right. I am Hachijo Toya. Notice the characters for 8 for Hachi at the end. Or something. Anyway. The magazines were all talking about your book signing event. Supposedly a mysterious male author showed up wearing sunglasses and a mask. Never thought you'd be a woman. What's the deal? That was just a double arranged for by the editing department. I was the helper standing behind him at the book signing. I wish I could do that. Now there's a shock. I haven't read your works, but I bet you're even more mysterious than your books. Readers only pretend to read books. They read them based merely on the name of the author and brand and think that they actually read them. No matter what I write in my books, they don't truly read anything. They just pretend to read so they can look smart and knowledgeable and keep up with the current fad. Why on earth should I expose myself to these people? Why indulge such trash? I see. Looks like you're Madame Hachijo, all right. This person really is eccentric. There's no doubt about it. This is Hachijo Toya herself. Hachijo Toya is a mystery novelist who's become the center of discussion lately. It seems her books themselves have been highly praised, but it's her mysterious debut that's attracted so much attention toward her lately. Last year she managed to win several different awards for exceptional mystery novels offered by multiple large publishing companies, submitting each of her works under a different pen name. and after that, several highly regarded anonymous works were discovered, one after another, to have been stories she had written in the past under false names. Her popularity soared as she herself became more mysterious than her books. Despite all this, the author herself never appeared in public. Everything about her was wrapped in a veil of secrecy. I wish I could do that. However, just a few days ago, this author finally made a public appearance for the book signing, showing up with a mask that covered his face and drawing even more public attention. And yet apparently even that had been a fake. I would do that too, if I would. Given this person's radically unconventional track record, it was hardly a surprise to hear her casually insult her fans like this. I know quite a lot about you too, Shinomiya Angie. The talk shows have all been saying all sorts of things. I'm sure you've heard nothing good. Yes, nothing good at all. Apparently you employ and fire people on a whim. Try to resolve everything with money and care nothing for the law as long as you get your way. Yep, sounds about right. However, I happen to like intelligent people like you. Is that why you agree to meet with me? Exactly. You're the only person who's managed to spot that Ito Kikukuru Regonamu is another pen name used by me, Hachijo Toya. By the way, apparently it was a mistranslation. It's Zero Gonamu. Or Zero Nana Gonamu or something like that. But I'm just gonna go with this one, even though it's technically a mistranslation. Anyway. That's quite impressive, actually. Because it's too long for me to remember to fix that error or whatever. I don't know, I was on the Let's Play archive. That's somewhere I go to. Ito Ikukuro Regonamu. It's a pretty strange pen name. However, if you match the Japanese syllables to letters, you can read it as 110-199-60576. 110-199-60576. This massive number is equal to 18 to the 8th power. 18 to the 8th. In Japanese, Toya no Hachijo. Or in other words, Hachijo Toya. Very well done. I was quite impressed. In fact, I was so impressed, I decided to let you meet me in person. Welcome to my mansion, child of man. Her manner of speaking was extremely condescending, but perhaps because of her elegant manner, it didn't feel particularly irritating. This person had a sort of majestic grandeur about her, which made that style of speech seem almost natural. At least that's how it felt to me. It's too long to read the numbers anyway. I'm not good at reading big numbers. Hold on, I gotta check something. Okay, thank God. That stupid cricket is going chirp, chirp, chirp. 5,000 miles per sound hour. I don't care. I don't care about the metric. It just pisses me off. I'm just making sure that's not heard. Anyway. In fact, it felt almost as though this was a manifestation to some noble being who would have no need to show herself before a mere humans under normal circumstances. Since I'm not particularly a fan of hers, I guess this is proof her mysterious charisma is really nothing to be laughed at. I hate crickets. I hate insects. Or certain insects. I hate flies, especially because they buzz. I don't like anything that buzzes. I don't like anything that chirps. And I can't stand certain types of other insects. This has been the worst summer ever. Well, I wouldn't say this is the worst summer ever, but it's still very irritating. Anyway. However, I didn't come here to talk to Hachijo Toya, the mystery novelist. I'm interested in Ito Ikokuro Regonamu, the mysterious web author who only released her works over the internet. Around the Japanese parts of the internet, Ito Ikokuro is an extremely famous witch hunter. Wait, am I saying that? Ito Ikokuro, yeah. I also don't like birds sometimes. Plus, they poop everywhere, including on swings, which makes it... I remember, like the kids at the playground, they tell... when I was a kid, they'd be like, you should go on and swing. And I'm like, I'm not sitting on that poop seat. You can do that, but not me. However, she isn't a big opinion leader like Professor Otsuki. She's one of those message ball forgers who are already on the center of vigorous debate. They can just poop in the bushes. Message ball forgers are, as the name suggests, people who forge and post the contents of what purport to be the mysterious message balls detailing the events of the Rokkenjima incident. They claim to have discovered a new message bottle and post either very similar counterfeit stories or a new theory with their own interpretation of the truth, all of which are supposedly written by Ushinomiya Maria. In doing so, they openly take on the name Ushinomiya Maria, writing up new bizarre tales as if they'd been present themselves and knew the truth. They then send these stories out into the newest sea discovered by mankind, the internet, claiming that it's a third or fourth message bottle. All the first forgers were either simple pranksters or crooks trying to swindle collectors. Eventually, though, people who claimed to have solved the riddles of the message ball tales and reached the truth started to appear. And they started creating original works of their own, third and fourth message balls from Ushinomiya Maria, as though they moved over to the riddle teller's side. These people rewrote the tale of the witch with whatever interpretations they wanted, and every once in a while, parts of their theories would gain big followings on the net. Some of these creations grew to be so widely trusted that they were believed to contain some grain of truth. The more rigid witch hunters openly despise these people, calling them forgers, counterfeiters, or just witches. In other words, witches are just authors. Everybody that makes things are just witches. That guy that wrote Star Wars, witch. People who write fan fiction, witches. Just kidding. Though they claim to have reached the truth, they refuse to tell anyone and create fake message balls as though testing everyone else. It was no surprise that more straight-laced witch hunters were seriously annoyed by these forgers. Everybody's got a witch sona now. However, among those who simply like to entertain themselves with the occult fantasy of Rokkenjima, that's true. A real witch is an illusionist that knows how to weave believable illusions and string them together, allowing the people to believe in their magic. Oh, look! I put it in Umineko terms! Oh, yeah. I mean, that depends. Like, I don't know. I mean, I watched Star Wars, like, a lot later, so it was okay for me, I guess. However, among those who simply like to entertain themselves with the occult fantasy of Rokkenjima, an extremely small number accepted these creations as literary works, glad of these additions to the mysterious tale. Ito Ikokuro was the most highly regarded of these forgers. End of the Golden Witch. I've read that one. That's one hell of a hobby you got there, killing off other people's families however you like. Did you come all the way here to just say that? I think not, final descendant of the Ushinomiya family. I'm trying to become a witch myself. Anyway, in her latest forgery, End, she killed off 7 of my family, at least during the actual story. No, if you count Alliance and Banquet, the other forgery she made before now, then she's killed off most of my family in horrible ways over and over again. Of course I want to complain. Oh my god, it's Meta! That's right! 3 and 4 are written by her! Including this one, and then the last tale. What? Meta! Okay. However, all of her works are known for being in both forms and level of perfection. the closest tales to those written by Ushinomiya Maria herself. In particular, Ito Ikukuro's first forgery, Banquet of the Golden Witch, managed to fit everything, including Ushinomiya Eva's escape to Kuwadorian. People wondered whether this might be the true story of Rokenjima, and it even made it onto the talk shows. Oh yeah. I actually have not seen Revolutionary Girl Utena yet, even though I've heard so much about it. I've seen like the game based off the novel of I Have No Mouth and Must Scream, because I thought the visuals were very interesting, and I like horror visual stuff. So far, all these tales have been nothing more than electronic text on the web. However, people will eventually realize that Ito Ikukuro is actually Hachijo Toya. When that happens, they'll become the works of that bizarre Hachijo, and no one will think of them as mere fan creations. People will probably start to wonder if this might actually be a third message ball she found and released under the guise of a story she herself wrote. When that happens, these stories will probably seem even more bizarre and credible. In other words, the great fan fiction writer. You're pretty cunning, aren't you? Why do you say that? You're doing this to make your forgery seem even more mysterious and credible. Umineko presents a nightmare world, and rather than just true crime YouTubers, there are people writing true crime fan fiction. Oh yeah. Oh my god. One time, I was up late at night staying up, and then in my head, I was like, what if I decided to do a YouTube series or like a TikTok series where I pretend to where I do the makeup and be like, today on True Crime Mysteries, we're gonna talk about Rokenjima and the Rokenjima accidents. Because I'm such a freaking big fan, but one, I can't memorize a script, so I wouldn't be able to do it without reading off of something constantly. And trying to do makeup or whatever. But it would be fun. I don't know. But then I was like, I don't know, is that offensive? But I don't know. You can steal my idea. I don't care. Anyway, once you've gained credibility, your forgeries will rise to the level of truth. Rise to the level of truth? How foolish. Such a thing is unnecessary for my works. Are you saying that because your works are truth and not mere forgeries? Correct. They are truth, so there's no need for them to rise into anything. You are Maria, and you definitely were on Rokenjima that day. So how can you be so absurd as to call this the truth? Hey, don't lose your cool, lady. Shut up! What makes you think I'm losing my cool? Angie half realized she let her emotions get the better of her. She let out a sigh and shrugged. Imagine a bunch of people you know die in a carjacking wrong late. Yeah. Oh. It's like anything could have happened on that day. Your reason for coming here. It wasn't to yell at me for killing your family several times within my forgeries, correct? Hachijo had been smiling at Angie kindly, but in a condescending manner. Or else, like a mother might watch over her very small child. Angie realized this and was unable to suppress her irritation. Apparently, Amakusa could tell Angie was getting worked up. He joked around with her for a bit so they could start the conversation over again from the beginning. Yeah. Oh my god. Imagine if, he placed this in the modern day. Yeah, she would probably be putting on makeup and then, I should probably draw that. Now that is a drawing idea. The thing you came to hear, it's the truth that I've reached. is it not? Why are you so sure that you reached the truth? Because I've understood all the tales. And I'm asking you why you're so sure about that. Do you think the sun ever revolved around the earth? Hachijo suddenly started talking about tomatic theory. Angie was about to tell her not to answer questions with more questions, but she quickly realized what Hachijo meant. Humans used to support the tomatic theory. However, that theory has been rejected in the modern age. Does this mean that at the instant that theory was rejected, the sun stopped moving and the earth started revolving around the sun? Of course not. The truth doesn't change based on what humans believe. Then, right now, your denial of my truth means exactly the same thing. The idea of heliocentrism was proposed by several scholars before Galileo. However, it was hard to objectively prove this theory using scientific techniques available at the time. Even so, that didn't change what the truth was, and yet it moves. Yep. So you're saying the truth is still the truth, whether you can prove it or not? Correct. In the future, when the full truth finally becomes known, people will look back and realize that I had already discovered it. Apparently, Angie just couldn't stand Hachijo's attitude. She kept getting irritated every time Amakusa would joke around until she settled down again. Amakusa be like, I'm her best friend. I know how to calm my girl. I have to calm my girl down. However, there could be no mistake that Hachijo was a genius, and had used her extraordinary intuition to form a most interesting outlook on the events that occurred on the island. That was why Angie had to contact Ito Ikukuro and hear her views. Still, this meeting truly had been fortunate for Angie. She hadn't been absolutely sure that Ito Ikukuro was Hachijo Toya. She hadn't thought that the publishing company would really contact the author, and moreover, she hadn't dreamed the mysterious masked author would grant her an interview under such short notice. The more she thought about it, the more she realized that some of the events leading to this meeting made for nothing short of a miracle. Yes, a miracle. After all, in almost all cases, I'd never be contacted with by the publishing company, and I'd leave for Nijima the next day. Hachijo be like, I'm your girlfriend now. I'd leave for Nijima and go to Rokenjima. And then give One-chan a Sakutaro stuffed animal. Huh? Why is a Sakutaro stuffed animal? My memory of the future is all muddled. My head hurts. Hachijo said something about showing Angie something good, rose from the sofa, and headed for the study desk. When she turned her back, Amakusa asked Angie, who seemed to be troubled by something, if she was okay. Hey, Amakusa. How long have I been here? What? You've been looking weird for a while now. What's going on? I can't remember how long I've been sitting here. Are you still half asleep? That's not it. I mean, I was able to get an appointment with Professor Otsuki, but the publishing company never got back to me about Ito Ikukuro. So in the end, I was stuck unable to do anything that entire day, right? Huh? Amakusa, you went to go get that large black bag, didn't you? That's right. Just before we left for Nijima, Amakusa and I parted ways just one time. He said something about getting a weapon from the acquaintance of his. He went to go get that large black bag. Wasn't that today? What am I talking about? I mean, didn't I go to Nijima, meet Captain Kawabata, and inside the bed shop? Huh? What? Something wrong? Did my confusion and uncertainty make me sigh out loud? Even though Hachijo's back was to me, she slowly turned around and smiled as though she had peered into my heart. No, it's nothing. Strange memories, ones I can't even understand. I try to hide my confusion, but for some reason, Hachijo had a strange glint in her eyes, as though she could read my mind. I have revived and killed your family several times within various forgeries, almost like a witch might. Reviving and killing them whenever you like, endlessly. Sounds almost like Beatrice, doesn't it? Yes, it does. So, please follow the lead of all those people on the web, and consider the possibility that I might be a witch. She took a thickly packed brown envelope out of a locked drawer. It appeared to be filled with a brim with printer paper. Perhaps this is a manuscript for one of her works. The neat written letters with a fountain pen on the envelope spell out the word Dawn. There was no forgery by the name of Dawn, which must mean... Angie could tell. This was a new one, Hachijo's newest unreleased forgery. Dawn of the Golden Witch. For one such as I, who knows everything, everything is boring. However, I don't dislike letting the ignorant read my works to see what kind of reactions they have. And so, I want you to read it. You want me to read your newest work which you created as the new Endless Witch? Correct, child of man. Whether you resent it or admire it, you can help me forget my illness for a time. Let's put an end to this farce, shall we? Who are you? I don't remember ever meeting you like this. Yes, I did try to contact Hachijo Toya, but in the end I never got a chance to meet her. In other words, all this is a falsehood. Whose piece am I this time? Sorry, but if you think you can tame Ushinomiya Angie so easily, you're making a big mistake. Yes, I hope you'd be this interesting. She finally couldn't hold it back and burst out laughing. Gradually, the space around them seemed to be filled with a strange purple mist. The room itself seemed to twist and bend. Her figure also twisted, and after something that couldn't be described elapsed, her form changed to become just what she had called herself, a witch. Splendid. You did well to see through my veil. It seems I'm the type witches just love to cling to. You all have that same condescending tone toward humans. I figured you were a witch right away. The novelist sitting on the sofa was nowhere to be seen. Even Angie's bodyguard, who was supposed to be around at times like this, was gone. There was only a non-human figure relaxing in a large, ornate rocking chair. I find you truly intriguing, child of man. Your charming nature is the perfect medicine for my boredom. Yeah, well, I don't see anything charming about this. Why am I alive? Wasn't I killed in a pretty nasty way for breaking the rule about revealing my name? To be honest, I did doubt that those people would just let me go so easily. What kind of farce will I be forced to go along with this time? I really don't care. I'll just do whatever I can within the bounds of the role they give me. Whatever I can to help Oni-chan. Of course I understand. Even if he wins, he'll never come back to me. Even so, I'll struggle on. I'll make sure Oni-chan comes back to the me of that day. No need to lose your temper. I'm not asking you to be appeased. Then why did you summon me here? Don't tell me you want me to read this new story or whatever it is you've written. That's it exactly. I do not want you to be my piece. I have always been a mere observer, and I have no intention of sticking my neck into their game. I don't get it. What is it that you want from me? Be an observer for me. An observer of the fragments Beatrice has woven. An observer? I don't really get it, but no deal. In the past, I observed the fragments through Battler's eyes. However, now that he has succeeded the position of Game Master, he is not a suitable observer. I am following this tale with true and earnest intentions. It'd be such a waste to observe it through the eyes of Balor as he is now, like reading a detective novel backwards. Oni-chan is the game master. What on earth are you talking about? You must have no clue what it's all about. You want to know, don't you? I want to know too. What kind of tale will Balor weave now that he's taken the position of game master? Furthermore, I wish to search for the truth Balor reached as part of my own mental journey. My illness affects me gravely. If I do not think, I cannot even keep my heart beating. So, you want me to read your new picture book aloud to you? You might as well interpret it that way. In exchange, you will also be able to take part in your own journey of the mind. I do believe that even you have yet to reach the truth. I think you want to continue on the journey to find that truth. I don't owe you anything. Do not push your luck. I can be lenient at times, but such cases are rare. Angie hadn't yet reached the truth either. Though she knew the game was a little more than a toy for the amusement of those witches, she wanted it to resume so she could follow the tale and close in on the king called Truth. I might explore the tale to find the truth for myself, but I have no obligation to read it aloud until the end for your sake. Understand? Angie was willing to read the story aloud, but she could quit at any time if this witch made her mad. She was, in effect, warning the witch to not annoy her. Of course, you call it a picture book, but to me, it is only the medicine for a fatal illness. I cannot take that medicine without you to assist me. In other words, it's a mutually beneficial arrangement. I remember the time I was a young witch. Okay, Grandma, it's time to take your medicine and go to sleep. So, you're telling me to read you a book until you fall asleep. In exchange, you'll let me read it too. Is that right? Precisely. If you're willing to accept, I shall ask that you become my reader for a time. Well, it's nice to get my own title, but all you really want me to do is read books, right? Are you kidding me, Angie? I wish I could get paid to read books, but the only book I want to read is this. Is Ryukishi's works. Okay, anyway. Becoming my reader means the same as becoming my familiar. In other words, what is done against you will be done against me. I will not permit anyone to disrupt my only interest, that being to read the rest of Beatrice's tale. I will not let Berncastel, Lem the Delta, or even Beatrice force anything upon you. This witch, who seemed to have almost a divine quality to her, spoke both quietly and forcefully. There was no threat in her words. However, even so, it was clear that she was on a different level than Berncastel and the other witches, and not at all to be taken lightly. So you'll offer me protection if I agree to read your book? Of course. What I want is for you to read aloud to me. I will not spare any attempt to stand in the way with that. Oh, let's try again. So you'll offer me protection if I agree to read your book? Of course. What I want is for you to read aloud to me. I will not spare any who attempt to stand in the way of that. If my attitude seems arrogant to you, allow me to apologize, child of man. It may not seem so, but I am speaking to you with the utmost respect. Yeah, probably. Even that witch-like style of speech feels like it's got to be the most respectful thing you've said in the last few 100 years. When you're reading a book, do you tell it thank you very much before flipping through the pages? I guess it is like that. I understand. Just by agreeing to have a conversation with Angie, she was showing an incredible amount of respect and willingness to compromise. Angie shrugged, but she also nodded to show her consent. Sure, I'll be your reader. I get that you showed a ton of respect just by asking for my consent first. You understand well, child of man. My name's Angie, not child of man or whatever. Very well. As proof of my respect for you, I will acknowledge your name. For her, acknowledging human names was like acknowledging the names of all the leaves scattered across the ground. So her acknowledging Angie's name was a miracle. No, it was immensely good fortune. From this point forward, Ushiromiya Angie will serve as a reader and Miko to the Witch of Theater-going Featherine Augustus Aurora. Until you finish reading, I shall bring calamity to all who attempt to hinder your task. When the Witch of Theater-going Featherine spoke this, Angie was wrapped in a bright light. She has... Sorry. Angie didn't feel any particular change herself, but she definitely had been given something that only non-humans could sense. It signified that this point forward, Angie would be the Witch of Theater-going subject. That didn't mean that Angie would gain some sort of special power, but at the very least it would probably mean that anyone wanting to cause her harm would have to take on Featherine herself. Your name is pretty long. Sounds like some Roman person from the history books. What should I call you? Those not familiar with me call me Augustus Aurora. After all the respect you've shown me, it's only fitting that I respond in kind. I'll call you Featherine. Any problems? None at all. For an ailing witch such as myself, even being called by my first name would be an experience to be treasured and pondered over, child of man. I have a name. It's Angie. Even conversations like this are pleasant every once in a while. Angie, my Miko. Angie accepted her role. She would observe this story with the Witch of Theater-going. The curtain was rising on the sixth tale. Oh my god. Alright, let's see. Featherine Augustus Aurora. She looks like a cake. I wish somebody made a Featherine cake, like one of those Barbie cakes. The majestic Witch of Theater-going, and drama, and spectating. She is tired of life after 1,000 years, constantly repeats a cycle of life and death. In the past, she served as a master for several games as a legendary witch, but her legend, glory, and memory have been already disappeared into the past, and only have been forgotten. Only the solemn medal she wears on her chest contains those memories. The horseshoe-shaped object floating around her head is a memory aid device. It records her name, appearance, and other aspects of her personality. She is so old that she would not be able to preserve her own individuality without this. Grandma, how old you are. Ushiromiya Angie, the final descendant of the Ushiromiya family 12 years in the future. During her journey to reach Rokenjima, while evading pursuers from the Sumidera Valley, she becomes overwhelmed by the world of an impossible memory. She reaches several truths in the previous games and possesses the power to act as an observer. It seems the witches who hope for the worst for her are great in number, as are those who wish to become her master. Okay. Huh, okay. Lambda Delta. Because of the end of the game has now been ensured by the victory of the human side, she no longer stands in opposition to anyone. As the previous game master, she also knows the truth and has taken the position of a non-interference. She now is simply acting as an observer, enjoying the way her beloved Burn's face contorts itself. Burn Castle. With the victory of the human side, she should have won as well, but she doesn't seem to be satisfied. It appears she is less concerned with who actually wins and cares more about how brutal an end might be reached. This is why she's hostile toward Battler as he tries to end this peacefully, and why she's trying to use Erica to ruin this final game. It's like, I'm just hanging out, watching Burn. Fucking Battler. I can't believe him. And fuck you too, Beatrice. Dalnor Anox, let's see. Okay. She's like, I could use some more chips. Fruto Erica, the Witch of Truth, provisional, is also the detective and one who calls her an intellectual ravager. She participates in Battler's game as a player for the human side. She possesses several skills that qualify her to call herself a detective. These can be acknowledged by Burn Castle and elevated to the level of Red Truth. Whether she wins or loses, this will be the last game, and there will be no further use for her. We won't be reading these. Battler, the Endless Sorcerer and the final Game Master. He is the ruler of the game board and the territory lord. To prove he has won Beatrice's games, he must act as part of the Game Master. By succeeding this, his victory will be acknowledged and Beatrice's game will reach its end. Well, as you can see in episode 6 in the beginning, he failed. Just kidding. Because he knows all the truth, the plane on which he exists is higher than all those others. Virgilia, a now retired Endless Witch and Beatrice's teacher. Let's see. Okay, we already read that part. Renove. Yeah. We don't need to read these, I think. Poor Battler. We don't need to read those. The people. Ushiromiya Kinzo, the aged head of the Ushiromiya family. He is already dead, but thanks to Kraus and Natsuki's closed room illusion, is being made to look as though he is alive. Therefore, there's no longer any need to include him in the number of people on the island. Without him, the number of people goes from 18 to 17. However, after welcoming in the guest known as Erica, as the number returns to 18. Oh, right, he's a real estate investor. My bad. Let's see.